Good day everyone, my name is Mr. Ademujimi Adedotun, and this class is proudly brought to you by Isaac Humanitarian Foundation. So what we're looking at is completing the square method. This is the most complex method in quadratic equation. Very complex. It's very complex. Okay, but very simple. Okay, but very simple. Complex but very simple. We know that generally ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. This is the one general form of what of quadratic equation. Are we together? This is the general form of quadratic equation. Okay, and let's look at this. Step one, subtract c. Subtract the third term, that's c, the third term from the both sides. So we can have ax squared plus bx plus c minus c equals to 0 minus c. Okay, so c minus c, that's 0. So ax squared plus bx equals to minus c. 0 minus c is minus c. Okay. Step 2. Divide through by the coefficient of what? Of x squared. That is by a. What can you see before x? X squared. That's a. So divide through by what? By a. And that will give what? That will give ax squared divided by a plus bx divided by a equals to minus c divided by a. This and this will go. Okay? We have x squared plus b over ax equals to what? Minus c over a. Step 3. Add the half of the square of coefficient of x to what? To both sides. That is, add 1 over 2 of b over a all raised to power 2. Which is b over 2a. All this multiplication 1 times b, 2 times a is what? Is 2a all raised to power 2. So from here, add this plus this. So that will be this plus this. That will be x squared plus b over ax plus this to both sides. That will be plus this equals to minus c over a plus this. Take it? Alright. So this is this. This is this plus b squared is b squared. 2, when you have b over 2a all to the power of 2. Still the same thing as b squared over 2a all raised to power 2. And that means b squared over 2 raised to power 2 is for a squared. Right? What will be the LCM? I said this is still the same thing as this. Mark the word forward and the backward process. Forward and the backward process. So expansion of this will still give us this. When you expand this, we'll still get this. Okay? This will now be x plus b. X plus b over 2 all raised to power 2. Expansion of this will give this. Excuse me. We expand that to give me that. Take it. Equals to what will be the LCM of a and 4a squared? The LCM is 4a squared. How many a can we see? 4a squared is 4a times minus c, that's minus 4ac, plus 4a squared, that's 1 times b squared, that's b squared. Rearrange this. That will give me this. The next step is what? Multiply both sides by the what? By the reciprocal of 2. That is reciprocal of this power. That's half. 1 over 2. Reciprocal or inverse. So that will be x plus b over 2a times 1 over 2 equals to plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared raised to power this. This and this will go. So it will be left with what? With this all raised to power 1. Yes or no? Yes. Plus or minus square root. When you have what? Half, it means square root. That is, we have something like this. 4 raised to power half. It means square root of 4. That is plus or minus 2. And not plus 2. Okay? Plus or minus 2. Take note. Square root of 9 is not 3. Plus or minus 3. 16 plus or minus 4. 25 plus or minus 5. Take note. So plus or minus square root of this. Then take this to the other side. It becomes what? Minus. That will be minus b over 2a. Plus or minus square root of b. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of a square is a. Then go for the LCM. LCM of 2a and 2a is 2a. How many 2a can you see? 2a times 2a and 2a is 1 times minus b plus or minus 2a and 2a 1 times this is this. Okay? Required. Proof. Take it. Okay. Completing the square method. Let's move for that. For that. Okay, let's look at this. Using completing the square method, so using completing the square method, completing the square method, using it completing the square method, factorize, so x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. Using completing the square method, so x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, step 1 now. Step 1, the first step is to what? Take what? 6 to the other side. That's the top 10. You take the top 10 to the other side, or you can say, well, subtract 6 from the both sides. Both what? Both sides. Okay? This will be x squared plus 5x plus 6 minus 6 equals to 0 minus 6. So that gives us x squared plus 5x. 6 minus 6 is 0. So this and this will go. That's 0. Equals 0 minus 6 is minus 6. Step 2. Divide through by the coefficient of x squared. What's the coefficient of x squared? Is 1. So that will be x squared divided by 1, 5x by 1, minus 6 by 1. You see give us x squared plus 5x equals to minus 6. That's the second step. Thinking. Step 3. Add 1 over 2 of what? Of 5 squared to both sides. That is, to this and to this. So that will give us what that is. That is, add 1 times 5 is 5 upon 2. All raised to power 2 to both sides. Okay? To both sides. And what would that be? This will give what? That will give x squared plus 5x plus, that will be 5 upon 2. All raised to power 2 equals to minus 6 plus 5 upon 2. All raised to power 2. So that will be what? X plus 5 upon 2, all raised to power 2. Expansion of this will give us. If you expand this, you get this. Math is a forward and a backward process. Expand this, you get this. Equals to minus 6 plus 5 raised to power 2, that's 25, 4 over 1. So that will give x plus 5 over 2, all raised to the power of 2 equals to LCM is 4. 4 times this is minus 24. Yes or no? Yes. Plus 25. How many work are we seeing? 4. 4 times minus 6, minus 24. 4 times is 25. And that will give what? 1 upon 4. 1 upon 4. 1 upon 4. 1 upon 4. Take the square root of both sides. That is x plus 5 upon 2, all to the power of 2 equals to 1 upon 4. Take the square root of both sides. This will be what? Square root of x plus 5 upon 2, okay, to the power of 2 equals to plus or minus square root of 1 over 4. This and this will go. We left with x plus 5 over 2 equals to plus or minus. Square root of 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Square root of 4 is 2. Plus 2 times 2 is 4. 2 by 2 is 4. 2 by 2, 4. So x plus 5 over equals to plus or minus 1 over 2. Okay? So x will be equals to what? Minus 5. Plus 5 will change to minus 5 over 2 whenever any number of an alphabet crosses an equality sign. The sign will definitely change. Okay? From plus to minus. Plus or minus 1 upon 2. So x will be equals to minus 5 upon 2 plus 1 over 2, or what? Or minus 5 over 2 minus 1 over 2. What will be the LCM? 2. How many 2 can we see in 2? 1 times 5, that's minus 5 plus 1. This will be what? The LCM is 2. Now minus 5 minus 1. Take it. Take it, take it, take it, take it. This will give you what? Minus 4 upon 2. And this will be minus 6 upon 2. Minus 5 minus 1 is not equals to 6. Minus 5 minus 1 is minus 6. Minus and minus. Minus and minus, you keep one minus. Add the two numbers together. Minus 5 minus 1. Minus minus common. Keep one minus. Add the two numbers together. So that will be minus 5 plus 1, that's 6. And not minus times minus plus 5 plus 1. No. Okay? So this is minus 4. And that will give minus 2 and what? Minus 3. Take notes. So these are the values of what? Of x. X equals to minus 2 and minus 3. That's how to use what? Completing the square method. Using completing the square method, solve x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. First step is to subtract 6 from both sides. So that will be x squared plus 5x plus 6 minus 6 equals to 0 minus 6. We have this 0 minus 6 is minus 6. Take it. So 6 minus 6 is 0, that's nothing. So the second step is to divide 2 by 1 by the coefficient of what of x squared, which is 1, not 0. Please take notes. The coefficient of x squared is not 0, but 1. Okay? Because x squared divided by 0 will give us nonsense. And the answer to this is beyond getting nonsense. Okay? That's indeterminate, meaningless. So that will be x squared divided by 1, that's x squared, plus 5x divided by 1, that is 5x, equals to minus 6 divided by 1 is minus 6. Okay? Add 5 over 2 squared, that is half of the coefficient of x, and not x squared. Coefficient of x, that is what you can see before what? The second term. This is the second term. Okay? Half of it, half is 1 over 2. That's 1 over 2 or 5 over 1. All means multiplication. 1 times 5 is 5 over what? 2 times 1 is 2. All raised to power 2. 5 raised to power 2 is 25. That's 25. 2 raised to power 2 is 4. The LCM is 4. 1 in 4 is 4. Times minus 6 is minus 24. Plus 4 in 4 is 1 times 25, 25. Take it? Yes. Minus 24 plus 25 is 1, not minus 1. Still the same thing as 25 minus 24 over 4. X plus 5 over 2 or raised to power 2 equals to this. Multiply both sides by the reciprocal of the power. The power is 2. Reciprocal, that is inverse, that's 1 over 2. Or take the square root of both sides. That's the general way of doing that. That's the general way of doing that. Take the square root of both sides. This is square root. You know what square root is. This and this will go. Left with x plus 5 over 2 equals to plus or minus. Taking square root. This have to cross plus or minus. Take notes. Take notes. Take notes. You have x squared equals to 9. You want to take the square root of both sides. X will be equals to plus or minus square root of 9. And that will give us plus or minus 3. And not plus 3. Take it, take it, take it, take it, take it. That's plus or minus 1 over 2. So we have take this to the other side to change to minus 5 over 2. Plus or minus 1 over 2. Whenever any number or an alphabet crosses an equality sign, the sign will definitely change. So we have x equals to minus 5 over 2 plus or minus 1 over 2. Okay? Since you are having plus or minus, we pick the plus first or you pick the minus first. Anyhow. Okay? So you can have minus 5 over 2 plus 1 over 2. Or minus 5 over 2 minus 1 over 2. The LCM is 2. 2 into 1 times minus 5, that's minus 5 plus 2 into is 1 times 1, that's 1. Or the LCM of 2 and 2 is 2. 2 into is 1 times minus 5 minus 5. 2 into is 1 times 1, that's minus 1. So minus 5 plus 4, minus 5 plus 1, that's minus 4 over 2. Minus 5 minus 1, minus 6 upon 2. And I give minus 2 minus 3. Taking. Alright? Question 2. So 2x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. So 2x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. Without you being told, this is not factorizable. Yes, it's not factorizable. Since this is not factorizable, you can use completing the square method or formula method. That formula method is generally known as almighty formula. I've explained that, but there's nothing like almighty formula. We only have almighty God, but not almighty formula, please. Okay? But since you have to solve this, very, very common in WAEC, they will ask you to solve using completing the square method. Completing the square method. So comparing this one to the general method now, which is a squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Plus c equals to 0. Comparing this now, or using the same step, so we can say step 1. This time around, I'm not going to be writing steps again, okay? You can take the constant part to the other side, or you subtract 6 from both sides. So we have 2x squared plus 5x equals to minus 6. The next thing is to divide through. Or you can say, divide both sides by the coefficient of x squared. Divide both sides by the coefficient of x squared. And what's coefficient of x squared? There's a difference between x and x squared. When you say x squared, it means that x appears twice. X was there. So the coefficient of x squared, what you can see before the variable. In mathematics, we use variable to denote what? Alphabet. What can you see before this variable? That's 2. X squared, 2. Divide through by the coefficient. So that will be 2x squared upon 2 plus 5 over 2x equals to minus 6 over 2. Yes or no? Yes. This and this will go. Okay? This will be what? Minus 3. Taking. So that will be x squared plus 5 upon 2x equals to minus 3. Okay? The next step is what? Add half of this, the square of this, to both sides. That is, add 1 over 2 times 5 over 2. All raised to power 2 to what? To both sides. That is, add 5 upon 2 upon 4, all raised to power 2 to both sides. Add this to both sides. Add this to what? To both sides. Add this to both sides. So we have x squared plus 5 upon what? Upon 2x plus 5 upon 4. That's 5 upon 4. All to the power of 2 equals to minus 3 plus 5 upon 4. All to the power of 2. Okay? Since these and these are the same, okay? They are the same. Since they are the same power, so you can just pick one from x. That will be plus 5 upon 4. All raised to the power of 2 equals to minus 3 plus, plus 5 raised to the power of 2, that's 25. 25 upon 16. Yes or no? Yes. This is over 1. So we have x plus 5 upon 4 all to the power of 2 equals to what will the LCM? 16. Okay? So how many can we say 16? 16 times minus 3. So that will be a minus. That will give us 3 times this, that's 24. 18, 8, 1, 9, that's 48. 48 plus this, how many this can we say this? 1 times that's 25. 25. So you can have x plus 5 upon 4. 5 upon 4, all to the power of 2 equals to, this will give us what? Minus 2, 3 upon 16. Minus 23 upon 16. So x plus 5 upon 4 will be equals to plus or minus square root of minus 20 what? 23 upon 16. So we can have x will be equals to what? Minus 5 upon 4 plus or minus square root of minus 23 upon what? Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 16 is 4. So the problem there is this now. What's square root of minus 23? Square root of minus 23. So x equals to minus 5 upon 4 plus or minus square root of minus 23 upon what? Upon 4. Yes or no? Yes. Equals to minus, the LCM is 4. That will be minus 5 plus root minus 23 or minus 5 minus root minus 23 upon 4. We are not going to solve this further. Why? Because punching your calculator, the square root of minus 23 will give you error. Yes. That is, your calculator will tell you that what? Square root of minus 23 is not possible. Okay? But it's possible. It's possible. Yes. Root minus 25 is possible. But your calc will tell you error. Like when you have minus 25, your calculator will tell you error. It is not, it is actually error, but at the same time not error. Okay? It's possible. And what will be square root of this? That will be minus, that will give you 5i. 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 Where that I is what? An imaginary number. Imaginary. Imaginary. That's imaginary number. It's possible. It's possible. Okay? Just for a level, we can stop it. For a level. For a level, it's not possible. But normally it's possible. Okay? You can always get square root of minus anything. But since calculator will tell us that it's not possible, but it's possible. It's possible. Take notes. But I'm going to stop it. But in case you want to do it, you can just look for what? Calculator. Okay? What will be the square root of minus 23? We need to find square root of 23. Okay? And how to use what? Without using calculator, we can easily get what? Square root of 23. Without using calculator. And what would that be? We look for what? For perfect number close to what? Or closer to what? To 23. And that should be 16. Yes. No more than 23. That should be 16. That should be 16. 16 is the perfect square. After 16 is 25. 25 is more than 23. So we can't use 25. So rather be 16. Square root of 16 is 4. Okay. 23 minus 16. That will be 23. 16. This is 13, right? 13. That should give us what? 7. That should give us 7. Yes. That should give us 7. So that will be 7 upon 4 times 2. 8. So that will be 4.0. That will be 4.7 divided by this will be 0.001. 0 to this. Okay, that's 70. 8 is 70. 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, that's 8. Remainder what? Remainder 6. 0 is 6, that's 60. 8 is 60. That's 4. That's 5. So approximate this to 1 to 9. So we can add this as 4.9. 4.9. So this will give us what? X equals to minus 5 plus 4.9 pi over 4. Or minus 5 minus 4.4 pi. 4.9 pi over what? Over 4. Stop here. You can't add it because this minus 5 is called what? Real number. You can't add real and imaginary number together. They are not the same. They are not. Just like you have what? X plus 2. X plus 2 is not 2x. X plus 2 is not equal to 2x. Okay. But x times 2 can give you 2x. Yes. X times 2 is 2x. But x plus 2 is not 2x. Why? They are not the same. X plus 2 will give you x plus 2. That's all. So minus 5 plus 4.9 pi. You can't add them together. This is an imaginary number. Take note that you can't get this from the calculator. But square root of minus is I. So square root of minus 23 is 4.9. Approximately 4.9. Your calculator can give you 4 point something. Okay? But it's 4.9. 4.9. Then we move toward to graphical method. Graphical method. Graphical method. Graphical method. Graphical method. Graphical method. Graphical method, we're going to be looking at natures of what? Of graph. Okay? There are two types of graph. There are two types of quadratic graph. Okay? The first one is what? Where is what? Taking a what? A shape of what? A curve shape. Sorry, curve shape. Curve shape. Curve shape. Okay? This is your y-axis. Don't forget that. This is y-axis. Y, this is what? X what? X-axis. X-axis. Y, this is what? Negative what? Minus x-axis. This is what? Minus y-axis. This is the word curve shape. Curve shape. And another one is this. Taking the word a curve shape. Y-axis. Then we have what? X-axis. X-axis. This is what? Minus x-axis. This is what? Minus y-axis. Okay? Curve shape. This is curve shape. Curve shape. Curve shape. Curve shape. At this point, we can determine the what? The minimum. The minimum, that is y minimum. Y minimum. Y minimum. This point will determine for what? The value of y minimum. Minimum, not maximum. Minimum. Y this point will determine for what? Y maximum. Take note. Y maximum. Y maximum. Maximum and minimum. Maximum and minimum. Maximum and minimum. Okay? We have your y equals to minus ax squared plus bx plus c. What will determine if this is the what? If the graph of this will take the what? Curve shape or curve shape will be the what? The coefficient of x squared. I didn't say coefficient of x, but the coefficient of what? Of x squared. The coefficient of what? Of x squared. But looking at this now, we can say what? The coefficient is minus a. Yes or no? Yes. Minus a is what? Is less than 0. Minus a is less than 0. Since minus a is less than 0. Since minus a is less than, this is less than sign. Since it's less than 0, meaning that what? 0 is what is greater than what? Minus a. Okay, since it's negative, it will take a what? A cup shape. That is the graph will be facing up. Okay, less than, not greater than, less than, down. That is minus a is greater than, is less than what? Less than 0. When a is what? Less than 0. When the value of what? S squared is what? Is less than 0. Is less than 0. Then at this point you can determine the what? The max. That's minus a less than what? Less than 0. What about if we have y equals to what? Ax squared. Y equals to a what? Ax squared. This point is what? The coefficient that is a is what? Is greater than 0. A is greater than 0. Since a is greater than 0, so that a greater than 0. So what you will determine or checking for is what? The minimum. It means that what the graph will have what? Minimum point. Minimum value of y. Minimum value of y. Minimum value of y, that is if y is equal to what? Ax squared. A is what? Is greater than 0. That's coefficient of what? Of x. Of x, yes. The coefficient of x is greater than 0. So this point will be what? Will be minimum. Don't forget that. Minimum. Okay? It will be minimum. Okay, what about this? What about this? What will be the what? The solution. The solution to this. What will be the solution to that? Solution to this equation. This coefficient of what? Of x squared is less than 0. Okay? The axis, that is the point where what? The graph cuts where? Cuts x axis. That is where you go to what? To determine the what? The values on these 2 points. Where this graph cuts what? Cuts x axis. Cut x axis on what? On negative axis and what? And positive what? Axis. Take it. So at this point now we can have what? X equals to what? Minus a. And x equals what? B. Okay? X equals to a. So if you can call this side, let's call this side to be what? To be minus a, and this side to be what? To be b. That is, this point is b. Okay? So if you are asked what to determine the value of x on this graph, the value of x will be x equals to minus a and x equals to b. Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Where this what? The graph cuts where? X axis. That will be the solution to that. That will be the solution. Okay? What about if we have y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c? What will be the solution to this? First of all, a is what is greater than 0. Since a is greater than 0, we have this type of shape. That's cup shape. Cup like this, or U shape, and this will take what? N shape, or cup shape and cap shape. This is cap. Okay, cup shape, cap shape, Taking. Alright, so what will be the solution to this? Where this graph caught what? Caught x-axis. X-axis. So let's call this point to be A, this point is B. So now you can say that the solution to this, the solution that is x equals to what? Minus A, because this is minus x-axis. And what? X equals to what? Plus B. This is plus B and plus x-axis. And don't forget that this is what we call the origin. Origin of the graph. This is also what? Origin. Origin. Okay? Origin. Origin. Let's look at this graph. This is our graph. Y-axis. X-axis. And this is minus y-axis. This is minus x what? Axis. Of course, we know that this is origin. That is 0, 0. That is 0, 0. 0, 0. Now, looking at this graph now, it increases like this. Yes. It increases like this. That's values of y. Decreases like this. That is, increases vertically, reduces this way, increases this way, decreases this way. Meaning that if you have this will be 1, 2, 3. It will reduce this way, that will be minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Increases this way, that will be what? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Reduces like this, so we have minus 1, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Okay? And let's assume that we have something like this. Okay? So since the graph is cutting this part and this part off, we can determine the value of x. X is what? Minus 3. And x is what? Plus 3. So we can use this to form the quadratic equation. Okay? We can use this to form the quadratic equation where this graph is gotten from. Y-axis minus y-axis, x-axis minus x-axis. Okay? These are the nature of graph, or the graphical method of solving quadratic equation. That's another way of completing the square method. Okay? And we have factorization method, graphical method. Well, that is what those are what the 4 common methods that we have. So the last method is what we call push and low, push and low, push and low. That's not common. Okay? Push and low method, push and low method, push and low method. Don't forget I said this is an imaginary number. Minus 23. Punching your calculator, your count will give you minus error, math error. That is what you see. But it's possible, very, very possible. Very, very possible. So it means that this I will be equal to what? Minus 1. Minus 1. Square root of minus 1. Thank you and God bless you.